So, a very warm good afternoon to everyone. Uh, I welcome all of you to our eighth webinar in the Unlock series. Uh, Today's topic is a digital transformation in oil and gas byproduct seeds. Uh, I would request if one of you can type in the chat box and confirm if we are audible. Before I proceed, if one of you can confirm, please. Yes, wonderful. So I've got two confirmations. Uh, Today, this is a very interesting topic which gains more and more importance as the environmental norms become more stringent. The economy's dependence on oil and gas is bound to increase, and fossil fuel is going to play more and more role in the economy. Their use is going to increase only, which means the byproducts also are going to increase. And uh, companies like IOCL, BCPL, GAIL, all these companies, or any company in a downstream oil and gas produces byproducts, a lot of useful products. So we have three very eminent panelists today with us. Mr. Bidhan Jena and Mr. Arjun Kapoor has joined. And one of the panelists is having some trouble in joining in, Mr. Prantik Sharma from BCPL. So he will join in, but we will not keep you waiting, and we're starting the webinar. So let me start with a warm welcome of all of you who are listening us, and to the panelists. Let me start by introducing the three panelists. So Mr. Jena is General Manager at IOCL, and he has a long 25 years of experience in oil and gas sector. He's an electrical engineer by qualification, and he has used his engineering knowledge and the oil and gas knowledge to the fullest, bringing in major changes in the oil and gas sector. He has been part of smart terminals, IntelliGreen bottling plants, digital maintenance of oil terminals, usage of artificial intelligence in supply and demand, etc. So a very, very wide experience. Our second panelist, Mr. Arjun Chobra. It's early morning for him. He's joined from London, and Arjun is engagement manager and solution lead at McKinsey and Company. He serves global clients in downstream area, and he has experience in topics like refining, petroleum markets, etc. He also leads the McKinsey Energy Insights for the global downstream team, and responsible for developing and deploying the McKinsey's proprietary assets and the outlook for the industry. And the third speaker, Mr. Prantik Sharma, our team is attempting to resolve the tech issue and helping him join. But I'm hoping that he'll be able to join soon. So he's from BCPL, carries a 20 years of experience in downstream oil and gas, core downstream products experience. So these are the three eminent speakers which we have. So let me start. This is going to be an interactive session, a question answer based session, and the attendees also, if any one of you have a question, please type in. We'll try to take these questions in the end, and if possible, in between also. So thank you, Mr. Jana, and thank you, Mr. Chopra. So, Mr. Jana, let me start open the webinar with a question for you. You are managing the downstream marketing, the last leg of the marketing for IOCL, which is the giant in this area. And last 2 years, a lot of processes have changed, a lot of things have evolved. So let me ask you, what is the current scenario? How are things? And what are the byproducts you deal in, and how has been your experience? Maybe I've asked too many questions.
Yeah. So good afternoon, all. Actually, I'd like to first brief about the business activities and the byproducts getting generated in my company, like oil and gas company, during different process flows in manufacturing, in transportation, handling and packaging of petroleum products. Then I'll be elaborating the process of selling these byproducts to the appropriate customers. Now, Indian Oil, I can just give it, say, 30 seconds brief. Indian Oil is having 4 verticals, like a refinery, then say transportation like pipeline and other mode of transportation, then marketing and research and development. These are the 4 verticals Indian Oil is having. And apart from these, other many verticals are there, but these are the main verticals where we are concentrating right now. Like in marketing, I'll be briefing more about the marketing because I'm in marketing division. What are the byproducts getting generated in marketing division? In marketing division, we are having say around say 130 odd terminals and depots, and we are having more than 100 bottling plants, lube plants, and other different activities are there. But byproducts are getting generated normally in the depot, terminal, and bottling plants. So I can say in bottling plants, major byproducts are getting generated, where our bottling plants are situated, say, throughout the country. It is from, say, northeast to the south end of the country. So more than 100 bottling plants are situated. These bottling plants, normally, they produce industrial grade mild steel generated from damaged cylinders and say different factory machineries what has been used. So around 55,000 metric ton in a year is being generated from these say waste and unused cylinders, which need to be sold out to the market. Otherwise, they are going to capture a lot of spaces, which really creates the safety hazard and so different other operational inconvenience in the plant. So around 40 lakh cylinders, 55,000 metric ton means around 40 lakh cylinders, LPG cylinders, the industrial and domestic use cylinders we are say like discarding from the system, and those need to be sold to the market. This is first byproduct we are generating. Apart from that, say industrial waste, mostly mild steel material used in conveyor chains, sprockets, those are around 5,000, more than 5,000 metric tons per annum it is getting generated in all our bottling plants. That is more than 100 bottling plants. Then brass materials also, few items which are getting generated. These brass materials come from self-closing safety valves which are put on the top of the cylinder. So those are around in a year in Indian Oil around 1.8 to 2 crore valves are getting generated as waste. Those need to be discarded from the system. So around 3,500 to 4,000 metric ton of say weight wise, they will be around 4,000 metric ton. So apart from that, regulators which are getting used in the home, those are also getting damaged while using continuous using, and those need to be disposed. Those are also coming as a scrap material or unused material as a byproduct. Then e-waste is a very say widely say accepted phenomenon nowadays. Lot of electronic gadgets we are utilizing. So e-waste is also a waste or byproduct which are getting generated from our system. Then unused oils, engine oils, these are many machineries are there, gearboxes are there, then DG sets are there, the unused this oil, like after a few hours of running, a few months of running, this engine oils need a change. So those are also getting generated as a byproduct in our company. Then a huge number of industrial batteries are also getting generated, which are very hazardous to the nature, but those need to be sold to the say identified customers. Then damaged electrical fittings are also getting generated as a byproduct from our company. Then many electronic devices are also getting generated. So if I combine all these things, it's a huge byproduct getting generated when we are say operating our normal bottling plants, and depot terminals also similar type of materials are getting generated. So unless we dispose these byproducts or find a suitable customer to take these byproducts from our company, then it is, of course, it is capturing some value and inventory loss. Then if it is not getting disposed in right time, those are the material value also getting deteriorated over the time. So these are the few I can say byproducts which are getting generated in an oil company. In a oil company, it's a bottling plant, depot terminal. So the total, if I count the total cost, it will be coming to the tune of multiple 100 crores. I can give a small statistics. Last year, we have sold around say 300 to 350 crore material as byproduct to the secondary market. So identified customers are there who take these byproducts from the company. And when we release these byproducts from the company, we free a lot of spaces and utility areas. And ultimately, it is going to add to the environment also, as because these are unnecessarily getting wasted and creating, say, hazardous this thing to atmosphere. So that's all from my side.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jinnah. You elaborated on the various type of byproducts which the downstream oil and gas industry is producing. And the industrial cylinders, I can understand the gamut is huge. Some of them are require special handling because of safety reasons, environmental reasons. So thank you so much. Let me now invite Arjun to ask what's happening, a lot of impact of what's happened in the global arena in oil and gas. It impacts the domestic production, processes, everything. So, Arjun, before going into the byproducts, let me ask you about downstream industry itself at a macro level. What's happening in the global scenario? What are the new challenges which are emerging? And if you can comment on your view in what's happening or what's likely impact in the of the global scenario, which will be impacting the Indian operations also.
Yeah, for sure. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, Arjun, you're audible.
Perfect. I mean, specifically last 24 months have been quite interesting for the downstream industry as a whole, right? For those who are kind of familiar with the downstream or the refining space, the refiners across the globe were more looking for IMO 2020 to come in with the skyrocketing margins, again reaching some of the golden ages of refining. Unfortunately, nothing of that sort happened, and we ended up into a pandemic world where the demand crashed. Nobody had expected the demand for transportation fuels, gasoline, diesel, and jet to tank so badly. Everybody was or is aware about the energy transition, the concept of energy transition happening with electric vehicles coming in, hydrogen coming in. But what this pandemic, the last 24 months, have shown us is like a preview of um, of energy transition and how the oil and gas and specifically the downstream companies will shape up in this new era of energy transition. So globally, we do see, right, with the COP26, the global leaders coming together and different companies coming together and having like a new mandates and new targets for net zero emissions. In a typical world, we do assume that the oil demand to kind of peak in close to say 2029, 2030 in a typical reference scenario with no policies, no targets. But with this new commitments because of COP 26, this 1 point, as it's quite commonly known in the industry, this 1.5 degree pathway scenario, which where companies want to be net zero by 20. Most of the companies say, and countries have ambitions to be net zero by 2050. India being and other Asian countries being on a more development kind of trajectory, they have a target further like around 2070 to be net zero. So the companies are expected to see this push coming from demand contraction, predominantly because of higher uptake of electric vehicles, engine efficiency improvements, new sources coming in like hydrogen, which will basically replace the demand for more heavy duty fuels like diesel, and also the biofuels kicking in, like with sustainable aviation fuels coming in, which would kind of reduce the demand for conventional jet kero. Sustainable aviation fuels again is becoming like a huge discussion point for oil and gas as well as airline operators in a region like Europe, where Red 2 regulation by European Commission have kicked in, have mandate of this fit to 55 regulations, which further basically supports the blending of HVO in jet fuel, like again putting a lot of pressure on jet fuel demand. So overall, the industry demand is expected to contract further based on these scenarios. We do see like a push coming on different refining capacities. So Middle East and Asia continue. We do see like some scope of additional plants coming in, capacities coming in. In India also, like players, IOCL, likes of CPCL, investing in new greenfield projects, HPCL Barmer coming on stream. Uh, but in more developed regions like Europe, we do see a lot of capacity closures in the next decade, with like putting pressure on close to 30% of the refining capacity shutting down. Some of these players, what we like with whom we work and what we have seen, are now also investing in additional technologies of like um, co-processing some of the bio feedstocks along with the petroleum feedstocks to produce renewable diesel and renewable fuels, whereas others are kind of integrating with more petchem plants, but predominantly there would be a lot of pressure on the refineries, right? So as a result of which, players are also looking at other aspects of digitalizing and using advanced analytics in some of their processes to kind of get to that additional zero point 0.5 to $1 per barrel uh, margin so that they are still sustainable. So that's the message more from a supply side. Few countries growing in terms of capacity, mainly Asia, Middle East, a lot of pressure on Europe and some parts of North America region. Overall, margin wise, we do see pressure coming up. Like overall, the variable refining margins are expected to go down for all the all the key regions, Singapore, Northwest Europe, and US Gulf Coast. But with like close to like say 2030, with onset of refinery rationalization, which will bring some relief to the margins, which will again grow up. But we do expect the margins to be lower compared to historical levels of 2019. And as a result of these variable margins, the overall industry value pool we expect for refining, we expect that to shrink from historically, which was in the range of say 150 billion to close to 110 billion in the mid 2020s, and up to below 100 billion by late 2020s. So overall, the industry value pools is expected to go down because of energy transition and additional pressure on transportation fuel. And hence, I guess it's important from this in this platform to talk more about some of the specialty products which these refiners are kind of focusing on, and additional new fuels like hydrogen, where a lot of refiners are kind of investing, as well as biofuels, to kind of capture some of the new revenue streams so that they are still afloat in the business going forward. Let me take a pause there and see if there are any questions, or if you want to move ahead. Hello? Ashish, are you on mute?
Yeah, so thanks, Arjun. I was on mute. So, Arjun, thanks for the very holistic view which you gave. And there are several points which I would say you revalidated, which is in terms of the alternate energy sources, biofuels, etc., coming up, the COP26 pressure for making the things more environment friendly, and lastly, the pressure on margins. And to that point, let me welcome Mr. Sharma. Mr. Sharma, you had some trouble in joining in. Our apologies. And you joined at a very apt point. While Mr. Jena gave a very good overview of the byproducts which are produced in the distribution chain, and Arjun spoke about the challenges which the oil and gas industry as a whole is likely to face. Let me ask you, you are working in the midstream or the area where a lot of refining products, the byproducts by virtue of a refinery are getting produced. So let me ask you, what are the products which are being produced in this scenario, and what are the challenges which you are facing, which you see the current challenges and the emerging challenges in these byproducts sales?
Good afternoon, all. I'm sorry, actually, I had some technical glitch probably, so I was a bit late in joining. Introducing myself, I'm Prantik Sharma, Chief Manager Marketing from BCPL. So, see, we are basically, our main product is polymers, and we have a few byproducts, liquid, which are basically liquid hydrocarbons. Now, starting of 2020, with the coming of this pandemics, now we actually, it started from mid of March, and then we were all very sort of confused as to how the market would behave or how things would go, basically. So we had a tough time, maybe mid of March 2020 and beginning of April. But then we tried to fight this pandemics on our own. We tried to sort of establish systems within our organization wherein liquidation of the product becomes smooth, both polymers as well as by our byproducts. See, because we are very small company, we are in the stage of growing up, and we can't allow our working capital to come to a standstill. So that was a real challenge for us. And yes, we did come out successful. We were able to liquidate both our polymers as well as liquid hydrocarbon. In fact, here I would like to thank M Junction, because they are the people who are actually doing the liquidation of our byproducts. It's quite a challenge actually. And prior to roping in of M junction, we had issues of proper liquidation of these products, because you never know how these products are utilized. But then after roping in M junction, we could see that maybe our retail selling prices were increasing, our liquidation issue were being resolved. If you come to polymer, actually, if you see on a month-to-month growth, there has been the demands have been increasing, and last 4 to 5 months there has been a boom in the prices. So companies are making margins. There is, working capital is getting well rotated. In fact, there is dearth of stock in our product warehouse also. So there is quite a demand, and this is very healthy sign for as far as petrochemicals, as far as polymers is concerned. But then as far as liquid hydrocarbon is concerned, yes, there is a sort of a sinusoidal curve time and again, where all of a sudden the demands are very high, and then all of a sudden the very next month we see that we are fighting against with ourselves for liquidation of the product. So yes, there has been quite a fluctuation in the market dynamics, a bit stability in as far as polymers are concerned, but a bit dynamic as far as the liquid hydrocarbons are concerned. But yes, all the organizations, all the refiners, all the petrochemical companies, we need to sort of work closely with each other. We need to understand the market dynamics. We need to take some solid decisions at our end, so that even when the chips are down, we are able to sustain ourselves, and we are able to liquidate our products, helping ourselves without any stock buildup. So that's it. I think we need to be, forecasting is the need of the hour. We need to see maybe 3-4 years down the line where things are heading for, and then accordingly we need to take the decisions. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Sharma. So thanks for giving the detailed overview and your kind words. It was happy to note that Ambition has been able to add some value. You mentioned about the forecasting as a need, and the oil and gas companies also collaborating and peeking into what's happening in the future. I think this must be a common feeling which many of the colleagues of yours from different companies must be echoing. This is something we'll come back to you to discuss more on this. Let me come to Mr. Jena. And Mr. Jena, you shared this was an eye opener that there are 303 or 300 to 350 crore worth of byproducts, or many of them could be called what people will see as waste products. They yielding a significant amount of money, and I think that's the area you are handling. That's a tough area, but the disposal, the sales, and balancing the hazards, the challenges which you mentioned. I'm sure a lot of changes, a lot of improvements are being incorporated under your guidance. So what are some of the changes in the way these byproducts are being sold now, vis-a-vis some years back they were being sold? And the reason I'm asking you this question is we have number of colleagues from different oil and gas companies, people related with oil and gas companies. They will love to hear of what is the challenge which you faced, and of course what are the changes you brought. Some of these they can pick up and implement at their organization also. So that's the objective of asking this question. So if you can share a few changes which have been recent and which brought massive results.
Yes. Actually, our company is a very vast company. As I explained, it is its presence is at far northeast to south. So we are having our plants, depots, terminals traded all across the country. The major challenge is that. So as I told you, there is a generation of 40 lakhs to 50 lakhs cylinders which cannot be used or sent to market again due to the inherent problem like safety hazard and risk to the customer. So those need to be immediately disposed. 40 lakhs to 50 lakh cylinder, you can imagine the magnitude, what is the volume. So these are not getting generated in a single or 2-3 plants. It is getting generated in 100 plants, more than 100 plants. So our major challenge area was how to identify such type of say unused or damaged or the not to be used cylinders in the say production line. That is first challenge. Second challenge is, once it is identified, how to identify the next customer who will be purchasing all these cylinders, secondary use cylinders, and they will be selling again to the market, or they will be using at their own whatever business they are doing it. So again, finding the best value is the best value in the market is the next requirement of ours, because anyway everything is having some value. Obtaining the say optimum value is the motto of our company also. It cannot be treated like it's a scrap. We should not ask anything or less value from this particular thing. Our intention is not like that. We are trying to get maximum value out of the scrap or byproducts even. Then say identifying the best season where in which season we will be selling this product, so that it will maximize the earning to the company. So all these things create lot of challenge. We adopted the technology to improvise our existing processes. Our existing process was like whenever the plant fails or the location fails, chalo, we have to sell some product because it is occupying more space. It is creating some say safety hazard. I am not able to move in the licensed premises or in the free space. So at that time they feel it as an urgency to dispose the products or sell the products. But that is not the good idea, we felt, because whenever our say free space is getting filled up, that time maybe the market value is not so much encouraging. So market value of the product what we are trying to sell is not that much encouraging. So we are say many times we are realizing very less price than that of the reserve price or whatever we are expecting. So that was the major area where we are failing continuously. So after adopting a say fully automated end-to-end solution like automated platform, which is again integrated to our SAP system, our ERP package, what we are utilizing across the company. So we integrated this particular digitized platform to our SAP system, so that it gives a real-time information of the generated byproduct. Like every time we have created value in the system, like whenever any single cylinder is getting rejected, whenever any single byproduct is getting created in the system, plant or the operating locations are very much required to update it in the system itself, in the automated platform itself. Now it is updating manually, but we are adopting the process where we need not have to update anything manually. Once it is getting rejected, through digitized process, we are going to capture it automatically in the system. So at any point of time, I am sitting at head office Mumbai, I can log into the system, automation system. I can see in which plant how much byproduct is getting generated and what is the value of this at current rate. So these type of things are giving impetus to us also. If anywhere they are not able to sell it, sitting at head office, I'll be finding say customers who will be purchasing this byproduct at our far east, far northeast locations, then south locations. I am in touch with, like M Junction is the say service provider, the knowledge partner of us, who has given a lot of say value addition in the system. And by sitting here, I can see which location need immediate assistance for disposing or selling this product, and now it is the right time to get value in the market. We have also introduced this artificial intelligence into this particular platform, because earlier it was a traditional system. How we are finding in what value it is to be sold, we look back like last time in what value we have sold this product. So we are taking it as a reference and selling it in the market, like whatever value we are realizing, that is good for us. That was the thought process. But now we have gone into this digitization and say uses of technology. We are finding through artificial intelligence driven platform what is the market value of similar kind of material in different industries, say related industries. Like we are having public sector companies, HPC, BPC, who are also selling similar type of product in the market. So how much, what is the realization of theirs, HPC, BPC, even private companies, how much amount they are realizing by selling similar type of product in the market. Earlier, this practice was not there. Now we are getting from say different portals we have connected. I'm getting through this particular driver what is the best value to sell and what is the best season to sell all these products. So by doing this, I am obviously I'm getting a the best value of the product. And while I am doing finding a customer is also a very difficult proposition. By introducing this digitalization, I am also finding a best customer who can give, because my selling quantity, what I told you, 60 lakh cylinders, 40 lakh cylinders I am selling, and say more than 2-3 crores say brass valves I am selling. So the customers, the secondary customers who are purchasing from us, they should be rich in cash. Otherwise, only they will be quoting in the particular thing and they will not be taking. So they are destroying the market. So those type of buyers, non-serious buyers, we are eliminating from the ground level. So serious buyers, they will be depositing, say, earnest money to us, who are showing actual interest, and they are participating in the e-bidding process, like e-auction. We are doing it. It's an online platform. So when we do the auction, all India, even people sitting at say foreign countries also, they can see and they can quote in this particular thing for their Indian counterparts or for their Indian say collaborators. So we are getting the best price by utilizing this digital technology through artificial intelligence and best season. And we are analyzing by through the introduction of a proper analytic tool. We are finding which are the say material which are yielding us value in a particular month. Suppose I am seeing what is the ingot price in the market. So now this is the right time to sell, say steel material, say MS Steel. So I'll be immediately so sensitizing my locations. You immediately do the groundwork, like identify the say scrap material or identify the byproduct. You desep them. You make it ready to sell. So they are taking proactive steps and they are making those ready. Whenever the customer reaches, immediately those are getting handed over to the customer. Otherwise, nowadays the market is so volatile. It fluctuates every day. From morning to evening, it fluctuates like anything. If I am not selling it in the right time, I am not going to get the a price which is available in the market. Now my experience is last few say months, last few weeks, I am realizing people are participating. They are quoting the best price, but ultimately when I am going to sell them, they are say backing out. Reason is 2-3 days time we are taking for getting the internal approvals, because it's a public sector company. We are having own rules and regulations. So while I am getting all approvals ready, this is taking 2-3 days time. 2-3 days is a very huge time for them, because the market is fluctuating in every hour, every minute. So if they have quoted something and after 2-3 hours or one day the market is falling, then why they will take it from me? So ultimately I am losing. Who is the loser? I am the loser. So I am not able to sell the product in the best price. I am not able to clear my spaces, which is occupying say a lot of area. I am not able to get the best price, because the metals or materials which are getting say accumulated, they are also losing their material value by say weathering effect. So all these things are happening. So I can say previously what we were doing and what currently we are doing. So this is yielding us lot of result, lot of value, and our management has taken say a beautiful insight into this particular thing. And it has earlier it was adopted only by LPG division. Now in our Indian Oil, we are having say different verticals. Say almost all the verticals are going to adopt this particular thing due to this introduction of technology. And they are also 1-2 departments they have already adopted, and they are also finding the best value in the market. Earlier, our realization of the price, reserve price, was hardly say 80%, 90%. Now in the current context, our realization price, like what I am expecting and what I am getting, so that I am terming it as realization. I am expecting 100 rupees, I am getting 120 rupees from the market, only due to this particular say introduction of technology and getting a real-time information. This is happening. So this is a good experience of Indian Oil, and we are realizing best value out of it. And we are also going to adopt this particular thing in our refinery and other pipeline divisions. They are also contacting us for introducing this particular thing. And obviously our say chairman who was given a presentation on this particular thing, he is so happy, because in his say 30-40 years of service, he told, I've never seen such type of thing happening in Indian Oil. So this is the great thing, great compliment given by the highest authority of the organization. So in that way, we are achieving a lot. Though challenges are there, obviously we are say overcoming the challenges, like the of course one thing I forgot to tell. Like this, the public sector company, PSUs, we are very rule bound. Like whatever decisions are to be taken, it cannot happen overnight. Like private company, we have to follow certain set of rules. Circulars are there, policies are there. Policies we can never say deviate. If there is a loss, there will be a loss, but we cannot deviate from the policies. But introduction of this particular thing, digitization, the turnaround time of the approvals. Earlier, it was taking say around 50 to 60 days time, because it was moving from a far-flung location to the head office, to the respective regional offices, state offices. Then it was reaching to the conclusion, like the approving authority, and finally he was giving a decision. By introduction of this technology, everything is automated. Like nothing, they have to do nothing. Only they have to see it. If everything is right, then they have to tick. Just put a click. Okay, it is accepted. So from 66 days, this has come down to only say 4 5 days, this approval process. After that, we have to give a minimum time to the buyer who is taking it, because he have to find the secondary market. He has to find the other party who will be taking it from him. So that is taking time, but because that is a physical process. He have to place the trucks will be going, loading, unloading, all these things will take place. So that time we are not able to squeeze. No technology is there to say optimize the movement movement time of a truck, or the loading unloading process of this byproducts. So that we are yet to find out the say optimum time for that loading, unloading, and movement time. Otherwise, it is giving us a result without any doubt, and it is an awesome thing we are doing as of now, I can tell. Yes.
Beautiful. So firstly, so congratulations to you for bringing some these changes. I think these are massive, and the results you told, the way it's happening, probably 30 years back, it was more of a Star Trek type of thing, where we are getting the complete visibility. People can do things with much more ease. A tick is giving an approval, and what's very heartening to hear is the type of improvements: 80% realization to 110% realization, approval days from 60 days to 2 to 3 days, and even those 2 3 days is what I saw you are questioning now. You want that 2 3 days also to be crunched down. So I think this is a beautiful, massive change, and automation, digitization in this area probably was unthought of in remote places. I'm aware the locations you operate in, they are not metros with swanky offices and fiber optic connected environment. So in such an environment, bringing these change management is a huge thing.
One thing,
Uh,
I just
yeah.
want to intervene. You say I have told around 350 crores to 400 crores worth of this byproducts we are selling. You just calculate 30 40 days delay in selling this much worth of valued material. What is the bank interest will be acquiring? And if I am getting it in my account, how much I am saving towards that, or how much wealth I am creating in that? So that is also a very big thing. That in that way, our finance team, they have calculated a lot, and they are giving, it's the best thing Indian Oil has ever done in disposal of the say byproducts. Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, Arjun, and I'll come to you. Uh, so there is a digitization and improvement journey you just heard at IOCL and BCPL, and India, and especially such industries like oil and gas or any core infrastructure industry, people emphasize that, or people think that what must be happening in the IT space is is must be, they must be lacking. But I'm sure you'll validate that we are moving ahead with the global peers. Here, I will also like you to hear from you. What's happening next? What's the next thing? So, what is the currently in thing in the technology space in oil and gas, and what's the next thing?
No, this is, I guess, the impact story which Mr. Jinnah shared is definitely very inspiring, right? From an Indian context, also, I would say, like from a national oil company, despite the challenges, I guess this is a great impact, which Mr. Jinnah just shared. Globally, also, I would say there has been, as we all know, because, and the point we talked about, because of the overall pressure on the industry, there is a lot of digitalization across different parts of the value chain to kind of capture that last buck, which we were talking about. Maybe I can touch upon a few examples. More, I would say, since the audience is more downstream focused, so while specifically defining clients is around the advanced analytics, which we are applying beyond the typical LP of a refinery. So already refining industry compared to some of the other industries have been more advanced because of the usage of different softwares around LP, which has typically been more static, where we kind of set the prices and like we get the exact kind of the production for a particular products in a refinery, the entire planning process. And there are different providers in the market like Aspen Tech, who have been there, and Aspen Tech, Schneider, who've been there in the space for a very long time. But but what over the years we have seen, and this concept is now even like going a bit further, is the whole concept around dynamic LP. And similar to the point which Mr. Jena was also saying, like since the market is quite volatile, the prices are changing, right? At every minute, or like even in a given day, the market is changing. So how can you kind of ensure that your planning process is in line with the market, with the real market activities? And that's where this whole concept about a dynamic LP comes in, which is kind of in linked to the market prices, and you can actually set real-time prices in your plant to kind of guide or plan the plant production accordingly. And then there are additional advanced analytics methodology where you kind of look at like collect the historical data for a given reactor, for example in this case an FCC, at different temperature points, and historically basically analyze the different parameters, not just temperature, pressure, the basic ones, but more than like 6 to 7 parameters in a given reactor to identify the optimum production levels, and then basically ensure that your reactor, and giving those directions to the operator to ensure that those parameters are typically met in a given reactor for majority of the time, so that you kind of maximize your production from those units. So some of these techniques like dynamic LP and using advanced analytics beyond beyond the typical, for some of the more complex units like FCCs in your refinery, has been like a great, I would say, source of capturing that 0.5 to say $1 per barrel uh, additional margin, which we were talking about when we were discussing your first question. So this is more from a manufacturing angle, and then maybe some additional examples what we have seen across further. If you go further down the value chain around the retail side of things, dynamic pricing has been quite successful across different retail players, but in Asia we still see a lot of players kind of relying on more like formula based pricing for setting retail prices at their gas stations, and also like leveraging like typical providers like Calibrate to set their prices. But there is this whole angle about advanced analytics beyond the typical pricing optimization softwares which are there in the industry, which has generated additional value for both the B2C or B2B margins for fuel. And similarly, there are various advanced analytics methods which we are applying to serve our clients for some of the new topics around non-fuel retail, where oil and gas players are typically not the best retail players, and this is a space which is kind of being explored a lot by majors, and we see a lot of NOCs going down the route of like exploring the NFR business or growing their NFR business to capture the additional losses which they expect to see from the declining fuel retail value pool, where again advanced analytics is great when it comes to the pricing, promotions, um, space allocations, and additional other aspects which we have seen, like which has kind of increased margins by gross margins by 20 to 30% for a lot of these fuel retail players. So there's a lot of scope of the advanced analytics in the retail space as the players, oil and gas players, are reshaping their strategies to focus more on the retail side of the business.
Wonderful. So, Arjun, what I could hear, uh, one very dominant theme, which is advanced analytics, or what people say big data, use of collecting various data and parameters, identifying an optimum, and which is also helping in decision making. Probably what Mr. Jinnah was talking, the next thing is how do I crunch that 2-3 days time further, and probably if these advanced analytics can guide the managers in taking the decisions, or maybe some of the decisions will also become automated in future with these data and analytics available, which is beautiful thing. And um, uh, I think with the type of view McKinsey has and your team has, I'm sure this is something which is going to happen. Well, it's happening in some parts. This will take this in more companies. Uh, Let me come to Mr. Sharma, and I have a question. In fact, the common question for both Mr. Sharma and Mr. Jena. You both have talked about digitization, and digitization bringing significant benefits, improvement. So, what was your experience while bringing this change? And more importantly, I think we had a question also on this point, that how did your customers reacted, both the internal customers, your internal stakeholders, and your external customers, the buyers, how did they reacted with these changes? So your change management experience, and how did your customer reacted? So let me first ask Mr. Sharma and then come to Mr. Jana on this. Mr. Sharma?
Yeah, yeah, Ashish. Actually, see, this was a very unconventional approach which we as an organization took of going for auction of our byproducts. Actually, till maybe 2016 beginning, it was this conventional formula based, which Arjun was telling, like most of the companies, they are going for formula based pricing. Now, the situation is such that all the formulas have proved futile. I mean, tomorrow, if we go by conventional formula based and we arrived at a certain pricing, maybe tomorrow that price does not hold any good. So analytics is the it's the in thing which we need as an organization, we need to adopt. And so when we went for this auctioning of our liquid hydrocarbons, it was, initially it was very difficult on our part to convince our management, convince the customers. What sort of thing is this? We used to declare a price at the beginning of the month, and we used to lift the product. It was going well, it was doing well, blah, blah. A lot of things had come in. But we put our foot down and said, no, we need to take some unconventional methods by which we can
Mr. Sharma, it seems your screen has got frozen. Uh, We'll wait for a few seconds to hear Mr. Sharma. Else, we'll move to Mr. Jana, and then we'll wait for Mr. Sharma to come back.
So shall I come in, Ashish?
Yeah, Mr. Jana. I think
Yeah,
let's hear you in that case, and we'll hear Mr. Sharma once he's able to join back.
Yeah, please. So let me confess, Indian Oil is the biggest, oil and gas company in India. We have never thought of such a scenario which we are adopting right now for disposing our byproduct in say secondary market from our depots and terminals. Indian Oil has taken lot of digital initiatives in each and every field. Now you might be knowing Indian Oil is having more than 33,000 retail outlets. So in starting from the villages to the urban areas to everywhere, it is having say retail outlet and its presence. So it was a challenge for us initially how to get a online information from these retail outlets who are situated in the remote villages. Okay, that was a challenge for us. But how we started this journey, we first we put some say your broadband sort of thing, what is that called, disk antenna for getting this information. Then after that, the connectivity was not so good, so it was breaking time and again. So it was not giving us the result in right time, and we thought we will not be able to succeed in digitalizing this particular aspect because the locations are like that. In India, we cannot get this digital connectivity everywhere from remote villages to urban areas. So we were at the verge of dropping this idea. But ultimately, the time came now. Our say around 90 to 95% retail outlets are online, automated. Automated means if anything is happening, hanky panky is happening, automatically nozzles will be closed. They will not be able to deliver quantity to the customers because if anything, any say dubious thing they're trying to do. So this type of automation we reached in retailing business where 33,000 retail outlets are there, and it was very challenging. We have never thought of implementing this type of idea in depot terminals where a lot of say value is logged, in terms of this byproducts, it is not getting sold in right time. We have never thought of. So this this idea, like this path breaking idea, this came to our mind when say at a certain point of time your M Junction company came to us. They suggested some idea. It was not so refined. Yes, we can do some say platform where you can see the say what is happening, but we have taken to next step. This particular digitalization platform we have taken to next step. Next step means starting from say getting the real time information of these particular things to the say auctioning process, real time auction process. What a person sitting at a remote location in northeast can see what is happening to my auctioning process. Then to talking to the customers who are taking the product from us. We are also connecting with them very frequently, what type of problems they are facing, what type of value addition they need, so that they can say get better prices after they purchase the product from us or they buy product from us, because we have to take care of their concern also. Because if they're purchasing from us and they are not able to get the value for money by selling it to the third party or by utilizing it their own industry, then what is the benefit out of it they are getting? So we have taken care of our customers, like we are doing continuously customers meet through M Junction only, because they are having the pool and they are our mediating agent, like knowledge partner and supporting team. So through those type of meetings and interactions, we are collecting the feedback where we have to improve, how we have to improve. So by taking all these feedbacks, only you will not imagine only digital platform is giving us the solutions. Only digital platforms, because we are not going to connect them by calling a physical meeting. You know, the in pandemic time what is happening, there is no nothing is allowed more than 2-3 persons. Now of course it is getting say gradually it is getting to the new normal. But through this digital platform, we are connecting them very frequently. We are taking one-to-one say feedback. Sometimes it was happening, they have given more amount of money, but they have taken less product. So say 1-2 lakh rupees are still pending in their account. So it was taking lot of time to get back this particular money for which we have not delivered the product from Indian Oil side. Now we have made the situation like that. Whenever they are taking the product, they are having left with some balance money, 1-2 lakhs, whatever, let it be 50 rupees also. We are immediately crediting this leftover money to the customer's account without any say follow up or without any taking any letter. So this, because we are public sector company, I am repeating again, we are having some internal rules, but giving money is very difficult for us. By taking money is not a very difficult proposition for us, because it is coming to our account. Whenever it is going from our account to other account, it passes through a lot of scrutiny, examinations, auditing, all these things happen. But now we have reached to such a situation, our finance team also, they are convinced, because this is a digital technology with sufficient precautions and say interlocks, we can do a clear cut transaction. The person who is supposed to get the money, he should get. So in that way we are confirming this, and we have made a payment gateway also, like other leading companies. Payment gateway means earlier what was happening, people used to give money to through RTGS by going to bank, giving a check, all these things are happening. Now we have made a payment gateway directly, it is available in their say reach, it is in their reach, immediately they can transfer money within no time. So money is getting credited in our account within say 20 minutes, 10 minutes time. So it is nothing like blocking the money, because they are also say taking the money from bank, giving some interest, all these things are happening. So they are also getting say respite, our money is not blocked anywhere, we are also getting the services, all these things are happening. So they are very, our end users or customers who are taking from us, they are also very happy with this because they are also not imagining Indian Oil will be doing such a thing so fast, because it has happened only last 1 year, and now we have started getting this say outcome and result. And I can say confidently, so nothing, no byproduct in an industry or industry like us is a say a lost value proposition. Everything can be monetized in a better way and in an innovative way. And to remain relevant and sustainable in the business, we have to adopt technology without any doubt, and it is giving happiness to the end user, and it is earning money for us. Monetization is the best part we are doing out of it. Yes, sir.
Beautiful. Um, I'm aware that we have slightly overshot the time, but Mr. Sharma was speaking of something important feedback.
Just three issues which are like, yeah, I was telling that post starting of the sale of byproducts through auctioning, our contribution of byproduct sale to the entire turnover has increased to almost 8 to 9%, which is very encouraging. But at the same time, let me tell you one thing, that we as an organization, we need to do some homework as to suppose a buyer quotes a particular price on auction, and then after 2-3 days, because of the prevailing volatility in the market, there is a price drop or something happens, then there is that lifting of the product decreases. So that convincing ability, or I mean that regularity in the rotation of the product has also to be ensured. So we need to do more sort of homework or validation, so that there is a synchronicity between the quoted price and the lifting of the material. In fact, the market volatility should not affect the lifting. That is one concern which we are very much worried about as an organization. But see, all good things have some bad issues also, that everyone knows, and maybe through mutual discussion or maybe through homework or some sort of studies, we can be able to address those issues. But overall, digitization has really contributed to the overall growth of our organization.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Mr. Sharma. And I have a special thank for you. I know you are on personal leave, and you took time and your inputs. I think some of you spoke about a very very pertinent point, that each technology, while they bring a lot of benefit, they bring some downside also, or some new challenge which need to be taken. And the synchronization between lifting and the pricing, there would be sometimes when there will be a delay. I think this is the next important thing. Mr. Jena also mentioned about this subject, and I think Arjun gave a solution also on this. So I'm seeing the watch, and we have 5 minutes, or we have all short. This was a very engaging discussion, and I wished we could have kept some more time. And let me thank all three of you. I think some very relevant, important points, and what emerges that in byproducts, everything could be sold more effectively, everything can be sold, keeping both the customers and the internal interest intact. And that's happening. The advanced analytics is probably going to further ease in the life. That's what emerged as a need also. Thank you so much. I know all three of you are busy people, and you gave time, a lot of experience you brought to this webinar. Thank you so much. And I also thank all the participants who patiently heard. In fact, it was a very engaging discussion. And out of about 120 people who logged, majority of the people remained throughout the discussion. I thank all of you for patiently listening to this discussion. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ashish.
Yeah, a special thanks to you, Ashish, for giving me the opportunity to interact with Jana Saab and Arjun. It was a pleasure meeting you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Arjun. Thank you, Jana Saab. Thank you, Mr. Sharma.